All right, guys, so the list of states that are going to be affected by a problem that just continues to grow has been expanded, and warnings are now being raised in different areas of the country. Many experts are specifically calling out a couple of states that may be impacted much worse compared to others. And it's because of two very important factors. We're talking wages and climate. Now, I'm not going to keep you guys in suspense here, but I'm talking about the states of New York, Illinois, Missouri, Colorado, Nevada, Oregon, Washington, and California. But what's the concern that's raising all of these alarms? Well, it has everything to do with border security.
Migrants have been flown into Illinois from Texas, expelled by Texas Governor Greg Abbott, and they have been bussed here by the thousands from the border zone. People fleeing their homeland have become points of political contention, sides of humanitarian debates, and figures on government ledgers. Tonight, even as more asylum seekers arrive here, some continue to leave. The I-Team filed an open records request to find out how many migrants are leaving Illinois, what that costs, and who's paying. Migrant travel costs in the Chicago area, people leaving by bus, plane, and train, total more than $775,000. And when additional travel-related expenses, such as ride shares, are factored in, it's almost $850,000 taxpayer money for migrants to move out of Chicago. 4,327 have now come and gone, more than 10% of the migrants sent to Chicago.
The Texas government will put migrants on a plane, let them, tell them that Chicago is this great place to come, which it is. But they're saying, this is what Chicago is going to do for you. And then when they get here, they kind of see that what was told to them in Texas is not accurate.
Now, guys, like I said a second ago, there's a couple of factors that are affecting how these migrants are moving, one of which is wages. Why? Because most of them are looking to get a job. Well, some of them are actually looking for freebies that, New York and California are giving out, but actually a lot of people are looking for jobs. Now, if we go by the minimum wage in different states as early as this year, many of them are not going to want to stick around in Texas. Now, before I explain why, I just want to ask that you guys just do one thing for me. It only takes a second. If you can hit the like button for the video, I really appreciate that. And I always appreciate you sharing the videos. It means the world to me. All right. So as you guys know, minimum wage there in Texas is at $7.25. Now, the main reason why people are entering the borders there is because it's the main point of entry into the United States from Mexico. But it's also where they can find free transportation. This free transportation that they'll have readily available to them will be able to take them to other states right here in the country. So it really makes life easy for them. Now, you're probably thinking that New York is a great place for them to go, especially given that the minimum wage there is at $15 per hour. But the problem is that the weather isn't as favorable. A lot of migrants are actually coming from tropical climates, and New York typically is just a little bit uncomfortable. That and, well, other states are actually providing much more compared to others. So look at this. It says here that illegal migrants are escaping New York to get to California. Why? Well, because the promise of free benefits and, of course, warmer weather.
Immigrant rights advocates call the expansion of health care for undocumented immigrants a major milestone in California.
This is a really major step in California.
Advocates for immigrant rights are celebrating a monumental victory in the fight for more inclusive health care.
I'm so grateful again. I think it's really, really important to think about how big of a precedent this is for the entire nation.
Nettie Velasquez is the border policy coordinator at Alliance San Diego. She's a DACA recipient who has been fighting and advocating for health expansion for years.
A lot of undocumented people and, a lot of low-income people, because they don't have access to these resources, they wait until the very end to hopefully receive some care. And by then it's too late. And we shouldn't have to have people, waiting until they're feeling ill to go to the doctor. We should have preventative care, and that's why this is so important.
Those who are eligible will be able to qualify for Medi-Cal, the state's health insurance program for low-income individuals. Medi-Cal offers access to primary and preventative care, specialists, prescription medicine, and more.
Besides this, California has a law that restricts state officers from helping U.S. immigration and customs enforcement agents in deporting any migrants, obviously because they're pro-immigration. That covers how California will probably be be flooded by migrants, but what about the other states that I talked to you guys about? Well, as you guys know, you can't just walk from New York to California. They're not exactly neighboring states. In fact, they're on the opposite ends of the coast. So you could just jump on Google Maps and you can quickly see that it's like a 2, maybe 3-day drive, if I remember it correctly. Now, since some of these illegal immigrants are choosing to escape from New York, that means that they're going to have to fund their transportation themselves. This kind of puts them in a little bit of a situation because not all of them can afford to get all the way to California. So what's the next best thing here? Well, got to think about the states that are along the way to California. So they'll likely be stopping in other states that will accept them as well. So this might include Missouri, Colorado, Nevada, even Washington. The last two are just there because it's a little bit closer to California, and the expectation is that Cali is going to be too overwhelmed that they're just pretty much going to have to move these people somewhere else. Some experts believe that there's going to be a point in time in 2024 where more than just a few states are going to have to prepare for a mass influx of migrants. Some are even saying that all 50 states should have one in place if and when this happens. Are you ready for migrants to overtake your town? Now, here's the point in the video where some people might argue that some of these people should be deported, especially if they do something illegal, besides entering the country. So an idea that many analysts and even local residents of different states agree with, which now brings me to a point that not many people are talking about right now. Did you know that we've deported around 142,000 immigrants within 2023 alone? Now, this number actually far exceeds any amount that has been deported under the Trump administration. But does that mean that we're actually deporting more people? Well, technically yes, but not exactly. You see, there were far less people coming into the country during the Trump administration, meaning that even though the Biden administration today is deporting a record number of people, they're also letting in much more people today compared to the previous administration. So it's kind of like saying, hey, you're on the Titanic, we're sinking. We're taking in thousands of gallons of water onto the ship per second, but we're able to scoop out hundreds of buckets at a time. The ship's still sinking. You see the problem here? More people are coming in that are being deported by a long shot. I'd say it's roughly for every one person that's being deported, 10 new people are coming in. So yeah, the math is just not mathing. And of course, there's also going to be conspiracy theories, but this one actually comes from none other than Elon Musk. So Elon Musk, a guy who is obviously not rubbing elbows with President Joe Biden's administration. So Musk, he went on X to say this. He says that the president is trying to get as many people into the country as possible so he can create a permanent majority or a one-party state. Now again, this is Elon Musk's idea, okay? Now, as far as the Biden administration is concerned, they're saying that they just need Congress to pass the bipartisan bill that includes funding for Ukraine, as well as help for the borders, and they'll be able to fix this problem the very same day that the president signs the bill. But of course, until that time comes, and as far as these states and the entire United States is concerned, we've got a crisis and time's a ticking. Now, as always, I'm going to do my best to keep you guys informed and updated on everything. But before I go, appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you for always dropping a like for the video. I really appreciate that. Thank you for sharing these videos and subscribing, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the next video. Take care.